Hello and welcome to week 6 of my Beachcombing Blanket crochet along. I'm Eleonora, the designer behind Coastal Crochet, and all the details about this blanket can be found over on my blog. The links are in the description below. So this tutorial is about how to join our squares. At the end of week 5 we should have 9 squares to join, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to join them. We're going to join them with simple double crochet US single crochet stitches, and each square has 51 stitches on each side, so we are literally going to be marrying up those stitches and working 1 double crochet US single crochet through each of the corresponding stitches, going through both layers of the square, so that the squares are really neatly joined and they correspond beautifully. It does give a little bit of a ridge, this kind of join, but it's a textured blanket anyway, and I think it adds to the texture, and it's a really neat way of joining these squares and also crocheting, because we like to crochet, so to crochet the squares together is a nice way to do it. And I'll show you how to get started. So the first thing to do is to lay out your squares as shown. I didn't block my squares, I didn't feel there was a need, they're all a similar size, but if you feel that your squares are very different sizes and the stitches need a little bit of neatening up, then do block your squares, and there's more details about how to do that in the written pattern. And we're going to start with the top horizontal join, then the bottom horizontal join, before doing the 2 vertical joins. And so zooming in now, the first join we're going to do is this top horizontal join going across, and so we're going to join our yarn into these 2 squares with the wrong sides facing. So join your squares wrong sides together, and then we're going to be joining our yarn into that top right corner chain space. Here are my 2 squares, so wrong sides together and the right sides are facing outwards, and then we're going to join with yarn C into the corner chain space, but go through both squares, so both layers through both squares, and join with yarn C. And so then we make 1 chain, and this doesn't count as a stitch. So unlike when we were crocheting the squares in weeks 1 to 5, where the turning chains counted as a stitch, this time it doesn't. So we just make 1 chain, and that doesn't count as a stitch. And looking at the pattern, it now says to do 1 double crochet, that's a US single crochet, in the same corner chain space. So just in the same corner chain space, insert your hook, but make sure you're going through both layers, so going through both squares, and then work 1 double crochet US single crochet into that corner chain space. And now all we're going to be doing, if you look at the pattern, is continue with 1 double crochet, that's a US single crochet, in each stitch across, going through both squares to the end of the side. So we're literally doing 1 double crochet US single crochet in each stitch, but going through both layers. So insert your hook into the first stitch of the side, but then make sure you go through to the back, make sure you locate that first stitch, there you go, and then just work 1 double crochet US single crochet, and then into the next stitch, making sure that you go through the corresponding stitch on the other square, into the next stitch, and just continue doing this all the way to the end of the side, making sure that you are marrying up those stitches and going through each stitch of both squares all the way to the end of the side. So I'm just coming up to the final 2 stitches of the sides. And here's the very last stitch, and it's corresponding with the stitch on the other square. And there we go, we've done 1 double crochet US single crochet in each stitch going across, joining the corresponding squares. And this is what that join now looks like. There's a little ridge. That is the nature of joining the squares with these double crochet, US single crochet stitches, and I really like that. This is a blanket which already has lots of texture, so adding this join, this ridge join, just adds to that texture, and it's a really neat and consistent way to join these squares. So now if you look at the pattern, it just tells us to do 1 double crochet, US single crochet in the corner chain space. So again, going through both squares, both layers, just finish with 1 double crochet, US single crochet into that corner. And now we move straight on to the next 2 squares to be joined. So make sure you've got the correct squares. So it's going to be the central square plus the one on top of that. Again, make sure the wrong sides are together and the right sides are facing outwards, and just place them together so they all correspond. And we're just going to go straight across with 1 double crochet in the corner chain space of the next 2 squares. So just go straight into the next corner chain space of these squares, going through both layers, both squares, and it just tells us to work 1 double crochet, US single crochet. So go straight across to those 2 squares and work your double crochet, US single crochet. And now, just like before, we're going to do 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each stitch across these squares, again going through both layers. So there's the first stitch. Make sure you're going into the first stitch of the side on the square behind, and then work that double crochet, US single crochet, and continue all the way across to the end of these sides. So I'm just coming up to the final 2 stitches of the side. I've worked 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each stitch across to the end of the side. And if we open this up now, you'll be able to see that these 2 squares are now joined, going across like so. And here are the first 2 squares that we joined. So we've nearly completed this horizontal join. We just have 2 more squares to complete this horizontal join. So looking at the pattern, it now tells us to do 1 double crochet, US single crochet into the corner chain space. And then it says repeat from star for the remaining 2 squares to be joined in this horizontal join. So that will be our top left ammonite and fossils inspired square plus the driftwood square. So with these 2 squares, we put them wrong sides together, but make sure, pay attention that the ammonite is facing the right way up. So this is how the ammonite will look when the blanket is laid flat. So to join this horizontal join, we're going to be working into the bottom edge of that ammonite square. So wrong sides together, and we just continue straight across with the yarn and insert your hook into the corner chain spaces. There's 1 and there's 2, and then just work 1 double crochet, US single crochet into that corner chain space, going through both squares. And now, just like before, we work the 1 double crochet in each stitch across to the end of the side, joining these 2 squares together. So there's the first stitch. Insert your hook into the first stitch and make sure you get the corresponding stitch on the opposite side. There's the corner chain space, so there's the first stitch. Insert your hook through both layers and work 1 double crochet, US single crochet, and continue doing that all the way across to the end of the side. Just coming up to the final 2 stitches of these 2 squares, and then here we go, the final 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each stitch to the end of the side. Here we are at the end of the side, and then into the corner chain space we simply work going through both squares, 1 double crochet, US single crochet. And now we've got to the end, we can fasten off. And this is what that join will look like at the end. So we started over here and we've gone all the way across this first horizontal join, joining these squares together, making sure that our ammonite is facing the right way up. And so now we can move on to our next horizontal join, and here are those squares to be joined, and zooming in we can see that it's now these two that we start with. So we'll be joining these wrong sides together and repeat exactly what we've just done on this first horizontal join. Repeat exactly that, going across here, then joining to these two, and then joining to these two, and go all the way across so that this second horizontal join looks just like the first one we've completed. And here's what it's looking like at the end of the second horizontal join. So we started over this side and we worked all the way along, going across all those squares to this side over here. And so now we can move on to the vertical joins. And so with the vertical joins we're going to do exactly the same, except when we get to where we meet the horizontal join. So I will show you what to do, but I'll zoom in because we're going to be starting on this vertical join here. So it's with these two squares, and we are going to join into the corner chain space over here with the wrong sides together. And so here are the squares, wrong sides together, and I'm ready to start this first vertical join. And just like with the horizontal joins, join yarn C into the corner chain space, going through both squares, and then make 1 chain, which doesn't count as a stitch, and then 1 double crochet, US single crochet into the same corner chain space. And now if you look at the pattern, the vertical join, it says when doing the vertical joins follow instructions for horizontal join, but work an extra 1 chain between the corner chain spaces when going across the horizontal join. And I'll show you what to do when we get to that point, but for now we're just following the instructions for the horizontal join, which is simply 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each stitch to the end of the side, going through both layers of the square, making sure that you crochet through the corresponding stitches. 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each stitch across. To the end of the side, got 3 more stitches to do. That's 1. That's 2, and here's our final stitch of the side. Go through to the corresponding stitch on the other side, and there we go. We've reached the end of the side, so we have now joined these 2 squares. And now we're at the point where we're going to cross the horizontal join that we've already done. So we're at this point where we've come to meet the horizontal join. And so all that we do differently here is first we just crochet 1 double crochet, US single crochet into the corner chain space like we did with the horizontal join. So just work that stitch like we did before. And now all that we're doing is we're just working an extra 1 chain between the corner chain spaces. So we've just done a stitch into this corner chain space. Now we make 1 chain, and then we go across this horizontal join to the next corner chain spaces of the following squares that we want to join. So we've made 1 chain, and now simply go across that horizontal join and insert your hook into the corner chain spaces of the next 2 squares that we want to join, and just work double crochet, US single crochet stitch as normal. And so by doing that, we've gone across the horizontal join, and it just makes that really neat. And then we just continue as we did with the horizontal join, just going across these next 2 squares with 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each stitch across, going through both squares. So I'm just coming to the end of this side, worked 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each stitch across, and here's the final stitch of the side, and then make sure we go through the corresponding stitch on the other square. So we've got to the end of the side, and now we're back to another horizontal join that we need to go across. So first we make a double crochet, US single crochet into the corner chain space. Then we simply make 1 chain, and then we go across the horizontal join, straight across into the corner chain spaces of the next squares. So there's the corner chain space. Make sure you go through both squares and then work double crochet, US single crochet. And now we've gone across that horizontal join as well. And so now we keep going across to the end of the side of these 2 squares, 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each stitch across to the end of the side. So I've just got to the end of the sides, and then we just work 1 double crochet, US single crochet into that final corner chain space and fasten off. And so here is the first vertical join that we have completed. We've gone from this end here and we've gone all the way across. When we got to these horizontal joins, we worked 1 chain and then went across them all the way across to the next horizontal join, where we worked 1 chain and went across it to the other side. And so this is what that join is now looking like. And so now we have the 1 further vertical join to do. So we're going to join our yarn at this end to these 2 squares, making sure that the wrong sides are together, and we're going to work all the way across. And when we get to this horizontal join, just like before, we're going to work the double crochet, US single crochets into these corner chain spaces, and then work 1 chain, go across that horizontal join and go into these corner chain spaces and carry on. So everything that we did for the first vertical join, we're going to repeat now. And here we are at the end of the second vertical join. So we've joined all these 9 squares with just 4 joins, 2 going horizontal and then 2 going vertical. So I think they're looking lovely together, and I hope you found the tutorial helpful. Thanks for watching.